Hello and welcome to As We Go Garden Edition. We are in the midst of preparing our garden for spring planting, summer planting almost, because up here in Wisconsin we don't plant any crops that are not cold hardy before end of May. So we still got a little time, but just trying to clean it up a little bit. And I'm noticing as I'm cleaning up, there are a few things that I definitely regret from our weed mat experience. Regret number one, I did not make the holes big enough. This was our popcorn section. As you can see, the holes are nice and tiny. However, if you look right here, let's see, I got two of them. If you look at this, and then you compare it to these holes, that one I actually had to dig up the weed mat to get it out because it was right over here. So that was not fun, taking those out. And then if you can see this one right here, definitely not fun. So I do regret not making the holes very big. I was hoping that in not doing that we would have fewer weeds, and that was not the case, because as you can see, this is our main corn section. The weeds were still able to make their way up, even with the corn. And because they were so little, I couldn't weed very well either. So there is that regret. Regret number two is I do think I put these rows too close together. They do have a recommended amount, and I usually try to squeeze as much into the garden as I can. But there wasn't much that I could do here as far as getting in between the rows to weed and take care of it once the garden really took off. So, regret number three would probably be these edges here. I will not be planting, I might still do sunflowers, but I will not be planting flowers or anything along the outside edge of the fence anymore, because all of the weeds from the outside grew into, and that it was really hard to keep it maintained without damaging the plant, which kind of feels like since we did it for weed control, feels like it maybe didn't. Hey, come here. Thank you. Feels like maybe it was pointless to plant them there. Other than that, I feel like we had such a successful season that I couldn't keep up with everything. And so, a couple things that I would do differently. When I come out here, I'm going to make the holes a little bigger. I'm going to be a little more careful with what I plant and how I space it, because there's no point in having more plants if your stuff is just going to rot because you don't have time to do it. So this is all garlic, by the way, that we kept in there, and that is Daisy. We kept the garlic in there over winter, and I'll dig it up here in a few weeks to see what has become of it. But yes, I will not plant quite so much that I can't handle it. And I will make the holes bigger so that it's easier to weed the little holes. But as far as the weed mat is concerned altogether, will I do it again once we're done with this weed mat here? Yes. Yes, the overall reduction of weeds was absolutely worth it. Big Dog said, "Leave me alone." She didn't listen. She's totally fine. Yeah, the overall reduction of weeds was absolutely worth the weed mat, the labor and the cost and everything else. So this year we'll do things a little differently, as we do every year, because we're just learning as we go. So Thanks for joining me. Have a happy spring, and I'll talk to you later.